Washington Commanders, Detroit Lions, game number 2 of NFL Divisional Weekend. Welcome to the full breakdown. If you've never been here before, my name is Max. I make these for every single big NFL game. This week with the divisional round, we have 4 full breakdowns for you. In the description is the first breakdown, the Chiefs-Texans breakdown. You can check it out after you watch this video. But the next 2 days, we will also have Eagles-Rams, as well as the biggest game of the week, Bills Ravens, individual game breakdowns. So make sure you subscribe and join the family if you haven't already. And if you've been here before, leave a like on the video. Lets me know you enjoy this type of content or that you've been here before and you are a returning guest, a recurring watcher, if you will. Before we get into this breakdown, if you guys are looking for my picks and predictions for these games, I'm going to show you where to get them very quickly. It's all in the description. There are links for all this stuff, but the number one spot is my Instagram. Right? It's at Loeb's Leads. It's the same handle on here, but there's a link in the description to click and follow. That's where all the picks will be. It'll all be laid out for you very, very easily. Just make sure you're following over there if you're not. On X, very, very similar things. We'll also have live picks on there. If you like X, if you like up-to-the-minute updates, that is the best place to follow, as well as Instagram for the overall picks. But up-to-the-minute, live picks, things like that, X is the best place and honestly the best place to interact with me. However, if you are making picks on these games, 3 places are giving you bonus cash to do it with, and you cannot miss out on these opportunities. Sleeper, Underdog, and Better Picks, all giving you crazy opportunities for divisional weekend. Sleeper is giving you a free half-yard pick if you join with code LEADS, L-E-A-D-S. After you join and make your first entry, you're going to get 11 free additional entries on top of that. Underdog is also giving you a free half-yard pick. They're giving you a deposit bonus up to $1,000 though, and then Better Picks is giving you a free half completion pick, so the same type of free pick, but a $200 deposit match. Yes, they're matching your first deposit up to $200. And if you're not following on Pickett, make sure you are. If you are not, that is the best place to stay up to date with all my picks as they happen. We'll talk through Pickett and what Pickett Pro can give you a little bit later on in the video. But without further ado, let's break this game down. Now, I am fascinated with this Commanders defense because we broke it down last week, and you can see the data outliers. There really isn't too much. The 10th most rush attempts per game and the 4th most rush yards per game, and their bottom 10 in overall attempts per game and yards per game in the last 5 games. What's very important about this Detroit Lions team is that they are getting healthier. David Montgomery is going to play, but I want to pull up the full injury report for you guys because there's a very, very crucial player who is out for this game. Now, obviously, they got Alex Anzalone back week 18 against the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday Night Football. But as you look at this game, somebody who I've sung the praises of all year long, Kevin Zeitler, is out for this game. He didn't practice Thursday, or when you're watching this today for me, didn't practice. He is out. Now, Taylor Decker's playing. David Montgomery's playing. Terrion Arnold's playing. Arnold's the big one because that's their true number 2 corner who was dealing with an injury. However, after we saw last week with Jefferson, maybe they make a change in terms of corner depth, regardless, besides the point. Now, we're waiting for the Washington Commanders to put their big injury reports out. Bobby Wagner is playing despite being a DNP on Thursday, but everybody else is pretty healthy for this team. This is the healthiest they've been pretty much all year. And most important 2 people, obviously Marshawn Lattimore in the secondary is back playing healthy. Did not play well against Mike Evans last week. We'll talk about that in a second. But Jonathan Allen. Jonathan Allen has been a key cog to that run defense when you look at it just holistically, the overall stats, right? 10th most attempts per game, 4th most yards per game, bottom 10 attempts per game, yards per game. Then the run scheme metrics here, we can zoom in a little bit for you guys here. Run scheme metrics, they're giving up the 5th most yards per carry. They should say Lions, not Bucks. 5th most yards per carry to a top 5 yard per carry team offensively, and they're allowing the most man gap yards per carry. That's different than zone. That's when you put a body on a body. You go have puller, 2 pullers, whatever it may be, tackle, whatever it may be for the Lions. They run less of that, which is very important to note. They run less of that, and they're actually much more efficient in their zone runs, which is very, very important because, I should say highest, the backfield split is very different in terms of types of runs. Jahmyr Gibbs runs more of those man gap scheme runs, which the Commanders are worse against, and David Montgomery runs more of those true zone runs. David Montgomery is the you go this way, you read off the 1 to 2, tackle guard, tackle tight end, whoever it may be, and you go make your cut, you make your play. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to follow follow a puller or have split zone, something coming back the other side. He is the man gap guy. David Montgomery is the zone guy. Now, it's not to say those running backs don't run in the other schemes, but if I'm looking at longest rush projection, we'll pull up Jahmyr Gibbs real quick. I'm actually fascinated to see if the projection is up, but if you pull up Jahmyr Gibbs and you look at some of this stuff, long rush right here. This is something I would lean into for Jahmyr Gibbs. A longest rush of 19.5 or longest rush of 18.5 on BetMGM. And you can look at the Jahmyr Gibbs game log. He's been pretty explosive against bad defenses, but just explosive overall. You can see 20-yard run, 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 20-yard run. So almost as many 20-yard run games or a game with a 20-plus yard run as not. I think the matchup's really good for Jahmyr Gibbs. In a game where the Lions are projected to win by a hefty amount, I kind of like it. I could totally see a big run for Jahmyr Gibbs. He should be getting plenty of opportunity. I don't know why that was weird. I'm trying to pull up the Lions game. Let's try Commanders. There we go. But the Lions, again, are pretty heavy favorites in this game. I think they're going to win this game. There is a very interesting edge the Commanders have. We'll talk about in a second here, but I mean, I think they're going to win this game. They are minus 9.5 right now. Do the Commanders keep it within that number? Potentially. That, again, will be on my Instagram and X. If you're not following over there, make sure you do. But this is a game where the Lions should handle business and should win. On the passing side, the Commanders run the sixth most man in the NFL. Marshawn Lattimore, usually going to follow the best receiver he did with Mike Evans. But regardless, the Lions against man-to-man, four guys pretty much really stick out. In terms of explosiveness, it's Jahmyr Gibbs, which is why I kind of like his overall scrimmage yards this game. But in terms of target percentage, Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Laporta, and J-Mo. Now, Jameson Williams, again, another explosive guy who can take the top off. And when you look at where they're getting targeted, the only marriage is here, the out wide target rates. Now, Tim Patrick's going to run routes from out wide. Allen Robinson is going to. Even Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to. But in terms of route participation, the main guy is Jameson Williams. The Commanders are getting targeted out wide, the fourth highest rate, and the Lions are throwing the ball out wide at the 10th highest rate. So for me, a Jameson Williams, either a big play or his overall yards could be in play, no pun intended, there. When you look at Jameson Williams and what his projections are, you can totally lean into that a little bit. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. I don't want to get you guys in. Oh, okay, we're back. But you look at Jameson Williams, receptions, 3.5, which is not horrible. Generally speaking, with an explosive pass catcher like that, I probably want to lean yards or longest reception. But overall yards down here at about 55, and then overall longest reception, 24. When we can look at Jameson Williams' game log as well here, something that probably has hit more often than not is a 24-yard reception. Yep, yes. 23 here, yes. 21 there, yes. So maybe the hit rate is not as good as we expect it to, but you can compare it against man-heavy teams that he's played. Let's see, like Dallas man-heavy, Seattle man-heavy, 70-yard catch against Seattle, but Dallas man-heavy, Jacksonville man-heavy, he had the 64-yard catch. Truthfully, that's really it. It's a lot of zone-heavy teams on this Lions schedule, but against man-heavy teams, the explosive potential is definitely there for Jameson Williams. I could totally see that. Now, the only other player I'm very fascinated with because of past production is Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think he could very well eat up the man coverage that he faces, but that would not be something I take straight. If you want to lean into Amon-Ra St. Brown, again, not something I would take straight, this is probably the best way to do it. So he's projected 7 catches, 75 yards. So for me, something safe here is, let's say 60 yards. 60 yards for Amon-Ra St. Brown, and you compare it with any other pick you like. Now, the best place to do this, to compare it with picks and find the best line for it, the best odds for it, is Pickett. But you have to have Pickett Pro. If you don't have Pickett Pro, it's $25 a month, and it's well worth it if you are consistently hitting picks, you're following the picks here, or you're hitting your own picks, because it will continually give you the best overall odds to put together. So let's see. You see two FanDuel things here, but let's say I wanted to go DraftKings 75 plus scrimmage yards for Jahmyr Gibbs and Amon-Ra St. Brown 60 receiving yards. You can see here, the best odds for that right now are on DraftKings compared to some of these others. They don't have them. But if I were to go to 80 receiving yards overall, you can see it compares to something like Caesars, where FanDuel is by far the best. If I'm going to go to 90 receiving yards overall, You can compare it to ESPN Bet, or again, that's Caesars, or 100 plus scrimmage yards. You can compare it to ESPN Bet or DraftKings. You're consistently finding the best odds. And this has nothing to do with FanDuel or nothing to do with any different sports book you use. If you use Pick'It Pro, you like 2 watered down picks. It's just going to give you the best possible odds regardless of sports. But again, the link for that is in the description. You can follow on Pick'It if you're using Pick'It for free. You don't want to pay something. Obviously, make sure you're following so you get my picks. But if you want to use Pick'It Pro to consistently find the best odds, that's what I use. Highly suggest you do it if you can pay the $25 a month. Definitely worth it if you can. Let's talk other side here because there really isn't too much more to talk about with this Commanders defense. However, the Lions defense against the Commanders offense should be a very, very hot topic because this Lions defense, very good against the run. We know this, but bad against the pass. And you can see this, 4th most quarterback rush yards overall, 5th most quarterback rush yards in the last 5. Now, I'm going to go pull up some game logs against the Detroit Lions so we can get a better sense of the quarterbacks they've been playing. But they have struggled against quarterbacks who can move in the pocket. Baker at 34, Kyler at 45, Geno Smith at 38, Sam Darnold 39, Mason Rudolph 29. That's Mason Rudolph. Nothing for Love, nothing for Stroud, nothing for Jones. And then you get down the schedule. Look at this, guys. 61 for AR. That's a true mobile quarterback, a guy whose legs are going to be utilized. Caleb Williams, 40 yards. Jordan Love, 23 next time. But another true quarterback whose legs are going to be used every single time. Josh Allen, 68. 34 for Caleb Williams. Nothing here for Purdy or Darnold, but the 3 true mobile quarterbacks, Kyler, Anthony Richardson, and Josh Allen, all had very good running games against the Detroit Lions. When I go look at what Jaden Daniels is projected on the ground, again, a guy who's going to be used heavily in the run game. You can see 50 there on ESPN, but minus 145, so really nothing crazy there. Jaden Daniels is projected 54, 55. If you wanted to put a leg of this in something, like let's say 40 rush yards for Jaden Daniels. Again, look at the odds here, guys. You can find it. It's a plus 35 difference. If you're going to put $100 down on this, that's a $35 difference. Don't want to miss out on that type of stuff. But regardless, Jaden Daniels, 40 plus rush yards, something if you want to put in an entry, I like. But that is not what I want to talk about here. As a lot of you guys know, the Detroit Lions play the most man coverage in the NFL. And if the Washington Commanders want any chance of winning this game, which I genuinely do think they have a chance to win this game, they're going to have to capitalize on the matchups on the outside. Now, do they travel somebody with Terry McLaurin? Potentially. Now, I don't know. I go back to the Week 18 game with Justin Jefferson, and I don't know. I really don't know how to feel about it because of what the Lions did defensively, the guys they threw at him, but honestly, more importantly, the consistent use of Amik Robertson. Now, is that an elite shadow they want to put on a true number 1 receiver? I don't know. Is that a shadow that just worked because he played against Justin Jefferson since high school? I don't know. Maybe they put him on Terry McLaurin. Maybe they follow him with Terry McLaurin. Guess what doesn't matter? Terry McLaurin's not the guy I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at Diami Brown because you look at the overall yards per route run against man coverage on the Washington Commanders. Diami Brown is first, and he's still getting targeted at a very high rate. He's stepped up more and more with the injury to Noah Brown. He has become a guy that has been used more in the offense. You can look at his snap counts as well. The overall snap counts for a guy like Diami Brown have vastly improved as time has gone on. Where's Commanders here? Pull up Commanders. Vastly improved. You can see. Where is he at here? Diami Brown. Middle of the year right here. 25, 32, 30, 32, 42, 16, 38. Very inconsistent. Then the bye week came. Noah Brown got injured in this game right here. 78, 66. And you look at the overall numbers in the snap count as well. 61, 45. A little bit less in week 18, which again is understandable. That was a game they're playing. Dallas Cowboys did not play their entire roster, but 45 plus snaps in every single game since the bye and since Noah Brown's injury, to me means he is truly the number 3 at least passed option because Olamide Zaccheaus is playing a little bit more. He's more of a zone guy, but Diami Brown has the explosive potential one-on-one coverage against man that I am staring at. And when you go look at his projection, it is very, very, very appealing. Diami Brown, look at this. 34 receiving yards. That's it against a team that is going to stop the run. This is arguably the best run defense in the NFL. Stop the run and allow a ton of targets on the outside. 17 yards as his longest reception. That is just way too low. It is way too low. The explosive potential is there. This is a line I love, something I would probably take straight, to be honest with you. Again, all my official picks will be on Instagram, but I do want to look at Terry McLaurin very quickly because he is projected 68 receiving yards. We were on him last week. I believe it's 63 and a hit. But 6 catches against man coverage to me seems like a lot. I'd rather lean into the yards. And you look at Terry McLaurin's game log, he is kind of hit or miss, as I'm sure a lot of us know. Where'd it go? Uh-oh, we lost it. We still here? Yeah, we're still here. Very much hit or miss in terms of his game log because you don't know what you're going to get from the opposing defenses. But he's been very, very good against, number one, teams that allow a lot of targets out wide, but number two, man-heavy teams. So Bucs allowed a lot of targets out wide, had a pretty good game. They're zone-heavy, though, which is interesting. Now, Dallas, man-heavy, 62. Atlanta's kind of back and forth, but the other man-heavy teams that he's played, he's done very, very well against. Cleveland is the big one here. 112 against Cleveland, man-heavy. Pittsburgh, man-heavy, 113. Dallas, 102, man-heavy. And those are defenses that, generally speaking, surrender more to wide receivers, but that's exactly what the Detroit Lions are too. He's going to have plenty of opportunities against this Lions defense, and he's going to take advantage of them. Now, again, the shadow, the Meek Robertson thing, like, we don't know. I'm not reading too much into it, but you can see his best games throughout the entire year have come against those man-heavy defenses. His worst games throughout the entire year have come against the zone-heavy defenses. Now, the Eagles were very balanced in what they do, but Tampa extremely zone-heavy. Giants balanced, but more zone than man. Again, only 2 catches, 2 touchdowns against the Giants here in week 9? But again, not a ton of volume, not a ton of targets. You can scroll up here. Again, Atlanta's kind of balanced. But the other zone-heavy teams, the more zone-heavy teams, with the exception of Tampa recently, because they've been allowing a lot more targets out wide, he's been really good. He's been really, really good against the man teams and not so great against the zone teams. I think Terry McLaurin's a decent lean if you want to go like 40 yards or something in an entry, but straight Diami Brown is what I'm staring at. The most important thing to note here, though, is the overall trends in this game. Like, the Commanders throw the ball out wide, the 5th highest rate, and to the slot at the 10th highest rate. That's where the Lions are giving up a bunch of targets, and they can't cover. Truthfully, guys, I know the Jefferson shadow last week kind of put that to the side. The Lions can't play man. They can't cover. I truthfully think that is enough for Washington to hang around in this game. I think they can hang around. I don't think they're going to win. I think they can hang around in this game. I think they can stay inside that 10 number too, guys. As crazy as it sounds, I think they can stay inside that 10 number. But what I'm really looking at here is the over-under, because we look at the Lions defense. They got Alex Anzalone back, and we're like, yeah, this defense is back. The Lions are back to the Lions that wouldn't lose to anybody by more than a possession, which I kind of think is true. Like, they're getting back there. But I also look at this Lions team, wait for this to load, as a team that's going to score a lot of points. But truthfully, I don't know how good they are defensively still, because even without Alex Anzalone, they were giving up a ton of passing yards. Minnesota didn't take advantage of that, which was very surprising to me. But I still think the Commanders have enough offensively to do it. Jaden Daniels is dynamic enough to do it. I don't think the Commanders are going to be able to stop the Lions on offense. I think this game could go over the total. Again, all my official picks will be on Instagram and on X. If you're not following, make sure you do get your bonus cash below too to make picks with. But I think the Lions win this game. I think the Commanders stay within that number, as wild as it sounds. That's what I got for this game. That's the full breakdown. Again, breakdown number 1 is in the description. 3 and 4 will come out in the next couple days. But I appreciate you guys watching. Again, if you're new, make sure you join the family so you don't miss the next breakdowns that come out over the next couple days, next couple rounds, national championship breakdown as well. But that's all I got for you in this breakdown. We'll see you tomorrow for game 3. God bless you guys.